Hey, everybody, welcome back. Craig Schaup here with George Thomas, our film critic from the Akron Beacon Journal. George, we are both kind of snowed in here for the last week and a half or so. How are you holding up with the random Ohio gets a bunch of snow all the time anyway, but you still got quite a bit of snow and ice, I would imagine, there last week.
Yeah. Number one, I work from home, so
Oh, are you
used
there,
to it.
George?
Yeah.
Well, I think we might have lost George.
I'm
Okay,
here.
okay, we got you now. We got you back. Okay, I think you froze on my screen there for a minute. So yeah.
See, you're pixelating, so
Oh, well, it's probably on my end, I guess. But yeah, we've been buried in ice here the last week and a half. It's been kind of nasty in Middle Tennessee for a change. We usually don't get these kind of Ohio-like Midwestern weather days where, the next day we usually get like a 55-degree warm up and everything kind of goes back to normal, but not this time. So we've kind of been cooped up in the house, but we're getting out and about finally for a change. So we're glad everybody's safe. And we know there's been some deaths in Middle Tennessee. So obviously thinking about those families. But I know a lot of families that are just kind of restoring their power now here in the area. They're looking for things to watch. And, this is a light week for theatrical this week. So we do have some streaming options. First off, something I know you were probably looking forward to quite a bit was the return of the Muppet Show. And this is executive produced by Seth Rogen, who, of course, has, been a fixture in comedy circles for the better part of 20 years now. And obviously last year had the studio with Apple TV that was extremely successful, which you and I both enjoyed. Obviously, he's a comedy legend at this point with 20 plus years of comedy gold from him. Here's the Muppet Show. Does this live up to your expectations of the Muppets?
I was very pleased with the result. And here you go. If you're streaming this live, take note that the Muppets are air on ABC in exactly, in my time, it'll be anybody's time, 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
It'll air on ABC, wherever what station that is in your area. But
okay.
You know what? It's a funny thing about the Muppets, and I wrote this in my review. Jim Henson and Frank Oz got the Muppets. Brian Henson got the Muppets, as far as I'm concerned, with a one-off movie that's become a holiday classic, and that's A Muppet Christmas Carol. And it's been my experience that it takes somebody who loves the Muppets, who gets the Muppets, to able to produce material that works for the Muppets. Jason Segel of How I Met Your Mother fame and Shrinking fame did that with two Muppets movies in the early, I want to say it, has it been 15 years, maybe a bit longer, I'm not sure. He got it. And those movies worked. Nobody's really done it since. As a matter of fact, even in Disney World, the Muppets have been kind of exiled because their main attraction, their main land has been taken down. And if we're being realistic, it's due to the fact that they don't generate a lot of chatter. Seth Rogen is of the Muppets generation, period. Right. And he understands the Muppets. This is billed as a special, and hopefully it'll turn into a regular series. Right now, it's a one-off, and it's hilarious. And in my review, I wrote mirth, merriment, music, and that's what it boils down to. The writing is sharp, the voice work, and as strange as it may seem, getting the right voices for Muppets characters, it's key. That is the key. Along with the writing.
Right.
Because, I think Henson voiced Kermit the Frog for so many years that his particular deliverance and that style. Right. Frank Oz with Miss Piggy. And it's like it's you take note of differences in voice cadence with those characters. And here it wasn't a distraction. Sabrina Carpenter guest stars on tonight's episode, or if you choose to stream it, Disney Plus. The format's the same characters. Guest stars Seth Rogen makes an appearance. Don't expect
Yeah.
Seth Rogen from the studio, or even from
Right.
or even from Platonic. That's not going to happen because the Muppets will not be
Mhm.
defiled. Although there are plenty of double entendres there, so there we go.
Okay.
Um, Maya Rudolph guest stars or shows up in the audience, which is something they used to do. And for anyone who grew up with the Muppets, it's nostalgic. But you know what? It moves it forward because there's a decidedly modern tone to it while staying within
Mhm.
the boundaries of family entertainment.
Yeah.
Um, and I gave it a B plus. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's refreshing to know that there's still some nostalgia left in Hollywood, and Seth Rogen. You're right. He is one of those kind of people that they grew up on certain things, and they want to tap into that nostalgia and give it a maybe a little bit of a fresh coat of paint, but then allow a new generation to sort of discover the Muppets. And it probably doesn't hurt to get like someone popular with Sabrina Carpenter's, name right now, or, putting himself in there too. It's really, I think, a coup when you get people in Hollywood that are like this. That I know we complain about a lot of the reboots and retooling of IP, but this is a more wholesome way of doing it, I think, and also not jamming it down everybody's throat all the time. When you're able to have, even if it is just a one-off, you're able to have something that can give families something to watch, and also just some of that nostalgia for people my age, his age, and everybody's age, really, that grew up on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the thing is, it didn't it didn't feel like nostalgia to me. It just felt like a modern
Okay.
continuation. I don't know if that's the correct way to put it, but it's as if
Okay.
it's as if the show didn't miss a beat with what they did, except
Mhm.
you recognize the fact that it's been given, well, like you said, a fresh coat of paint. And
Yeah. Okay.
you know, like I said, it takes someone with respect for the characters to handle the characters. It's that simple. And
Right.
it's nice to see that, you know, face it, you hear the name Seth Rogen, what do you think? As far as his comedic style.
What do you think of stoner comedies? And yeah.
And it's nice to see that he is not, and although I've always known it, a lot of people out there may not, because he chooses to
Yeah.
operate in a realm that's, lack of a better term, for adults. And
Mhm.
it's good that he can show that he's not this one note
Right.
producer, writer, whatever.
Yeah. I think the studio also showed that from, sort of a dramatic side. Yeah, there's a lot of drug use and things like that in the studio, but it's also, a very elevated, I think I even mentioned it, more of an elevated version of Entourage, for instance, where you're getting a really in-depth look at the process these days. And it's kind of a show with with as many people that don't really care for Hollywood these days. You always wondered how a show like that was going to score with audiences, because do they really care about the inner workings of a movie studio? But Rogan really showed a lot of range in that, and he really goes beyond the one note that people might know him from Superbad or Pineapple Express or some of these other things that he's done that showcases his ability to get high and be funny. But in this case, he's really showing even more range with the Muppets, where he can't rely on that kind of stuff to, go to the audience and connect with them.
Exactly. I mean, if we're being honest, you mentioned that the studio is elevated. That's very true. But it's elevated because it works on two different levels. Because it's vulgar enough to
Oh yeah,
appeal to
yeah,
that to the audience that that made him in his earlier in his career.
right.
And since then, he's evolved beyond that in a definitive manner. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice to see it on full display here.
Absolutely. Well, and like you said, the Muppet Show will be on ABC a little bit later tonight. It'll be on streaming on Disney Plus as well. Another streaming option that you've really enjoyed over the years, and it's hard to say that because Netflix isn't known for giving a lot of longevity to their series,
Yeah,
but clearly they like this one. The Lincoln Lawyer is back for a fourth season, and that starts
it's huge.
tomorrow. This is a show that you've really enjoyed over the years, and I mean, obviously Netflix is behind it because they keep greenlighting, another season here. Usually they're like a one or a two season and they're out, but here they're getting on to season four, and I think they've even renewed for season five.
They renewed.
So
I was just gonna say they renewed for season 5 2 days ahead
yeah,
of the.
yeah,
Actually, they announced it Monday, I believe.
okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
is this show worth it? Does it still have those legs for you here in season four?
Well, the key to the Lincoln Lawyer is it's weird to say this. It's the lead character and the lead actor Manuel Garcia Rufo, who was I thought was very good in the latest Jurassic, whatever you want to call it, movie. I enjoyed his performance in that. But it's also got a strong cast in general, a strong
Mm,
ensemble cast. So um one of the reasons I think they keep going back is because there's an endless supply of source material here. I don't know how many books there are in this series,
sure.
but if you've got gold,
Right.
if you find gold, keep going back to the mine. You know what I mean? But yeah, and it's
Right. Oh yeah.
different this time around because Mickey Holler, the main character, the stud, the showy LA defense lawyer, finds himself on the other end of of justice this time as he's been accused of murder. And I've seen the first couple episodes. I'm going to get to the rest of them tomorrow. But he finds himself dealing with not that he's not used to dealing with criminals, but he's dealing with an element of criminal that he operates in the white collar evil kind of realm. You know what I mean? He's dealing with
Right.
seedy individuals this time around, and you see how it begins to take a toll on him as he sits in the LA County jail because he's not able to secure bail right away. In the meantime, his partner, his associate, Lorna, his ex wife and now legal associate, is having them to maintain revenue in the firm that before his arrest has been wildly successful. Now, there's no way Mickey Holler is going to be convicted of anything. We could say that right away. The key to this series is going to be them
Right.
unraveling the mystery of the who actually committed this crime,
I'm
and
sure.
that's what I'm looking forward to. The first couple of episodes, you're used to seeing Mickey Holler, and I don't know if you've ever watched the series. He's this
I've not.
borderline arrogant, most assuredly confident lawyer, and
Mm,
unless it's within the bounds of personal relationships, you don't get to see his vulnerability show up, his self doubt. And in the first couple episodes, it reveals itself. Those elements reveal itself, and it's like, wow, okay, something different, and I'm hooked. I just didn't have time to get through all 10 episodes since it showed
right.
up yesterday. So
Well,
always right.
it's yeah, it's wildly popular. I mean, this is a show, like we said, Netflix usually is quick to pull the plug, so clearly they feel like this show is resonating with audiences, and like you said, now for four seasons, the quality is there, which isn't always there for Netflix shows, but it's a testament that sometimes they pick the right projects and sometimes they get behind the right projects too.
You and I have both chastised Netflix since we've been doing this for throwing a lot of against the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm going to give them credit because it seems to be they're doing that to a lesser degree now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of the best television shows I've watched in recent months have come from Netflix. So one of them being recently Runaway, based on a Harlan Corbin novel. I'm going to go kill my dog.
Well, they just want to get their word in as well. I don't blame him. But you talk a little bit about The Lincoln Lawyer. Maybe it's a show we can get into, here at home. But I know there's another show, and there've been a few shows that you've gotten into. But Landman is a show on Paramount Plus that you've gotten into. Of course, the always great Billy Bob Thornton leads that series. But tell us a little bit about getting into Landman. What inspired you to start it, and what have you thought about it so far?
But it's, number one, I normally watch anything with Billy Bob Thornton in it. I mean, this is an actor I discovered because I was on the junket for Sling Blade way back then.
Yeah.
And I cried in front of this guy because Sling Blade, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I have.
It really hit home. And because the character in Sling Blade was abused, and it hit home for me because I suffered the same kind of verbal abuse at the hands of a quote unquote parent. And it's like, in a slight moment, I lost it. And it's like, he looked at me like, wow, okay. But so no, I've always followed his career. What's the movie about the air traffic controllers? I don't, with John Cusack. I might have been that's one of those.
Oh, A Simple Plan?
No, A Simple Plan is just a great thriller. This one was about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Air traffic controllers, co-starred with John Cusack and Angelina Jolie. And much like Mercy a couple weeks ago, I think I was one of few critics in the country who enjoyed that. So, but
he's one of those guys that. Go ahead.
He's one of those actors whose career I've always followed. Maybe it's because his last series on Amazon Prime, I couldn't stick with it, and I don't know why. He played a lawyer. This time around, I kept hearing the buzz. Landman. Even my brother, who doesn't watch a lot of television, said, you need to check out Landman. Okay, this is coming from my brother. All right. Yeah. So you know what? I will check out Landman. We were laying around. Football season's over. Almost. I had nothing else to do. I'm like, okay, let's check out Landman. And we're almost through the first season, which will get us to the current season real soon. It's just, he's not even an oil executive. The title comes from his title. His job description is a landman who takes care of everything underground for oil companies. He's basically a fixer for an independent oil company. And he has all this stuff going on with an ex-wife, a daughter, a son who wants to be an oil executive, but for him, the best way to achieve that is to start from the bottom up, literally, and that's working in the oil fields. And fascinating. Billy Bob is Billy Bob. I mean,
yeah.
I'm curious to know if he writes his own dialogue because it's just so. It's just so Billy Bob. That's just the best way to put it. It's matter of fact. It's direct. It's razor sharp.
He is an Oscar-winning writer, so why not?
Yeah.
He's always great. He's a reliable actor that you put him in any situation. He can go in there. He can do whatever you need him to do. He can chew the scenery. He can just be a little bit more subtle. He can be very present. He's just one of those versatile actors that you can just kind of parachute into any role, and he can usually hit a home run because he's that good. And he's one of those actors that maybe doesn't get as much run in the mainstream as he used to, and maybe that's how Hollywood is when you get a little older. There's only certain roles for you in certain movies, so you're always fighting against a smaller sample of people. But obviously Billy Bob is one of those well recognized actors and also writer director because he did write and direct Sling Blades. So he's definitely interesting to see him transition here into the TV realm. Obviously, I know he had Goliath, but maybe getting a little bit more popularity on Paramount Plus with Landman, and that's always a good thing because you never know what that might parlay his next acting gig into.
Oh, absolutely. And I what I'm curious about is why he doesn't really direct a lot any longer. I mean, he had a keen sense
Yeah,
of story with Sling Blade. And maybe that's because he wrote it. But
right.
eh, eh, he you're right. He's one of those guys who probably doesn't get enough recognition.
Yeah. Well, some things that I've caught up on, after so long, it was I can't believe I let this happen, but Hacks, one of the best comedies on TV, well, streaming in this case on HBO Max. Jean Smart is, if there's a Billy Bob Thornton of the female version, Jean Smart is one of those actresses that you can just put into anything and she will elevate every bit of that material. And it's pretty clear. I'm not the only person that thinks this about Hacks because it's won multiple Emmys, and Jean Smart seems to win every award in the acting categories that she's in. But it's just a show that continues to kind of, this past season we binge watched it in the over the course of 2 days, and it's really one of those shows that is starting to ratchet up tension. There's a lot more anxiety inducing, things going on, but it's a really well written, well acted show, and I'm glad that it's going to get one more season here this year. But I'm glad that we finally caught up on it because it was appointment viewing for the first 3 seasons, and then I think we kind of got into the mode where we wanted to wait for all the episodes to drop and just kind of binge it all in one felt swoop. But unfortunately, we kind of lost track of it, and finally got back to it now. But if it's something that's not on your radar, someone you people should seek it out because it is one of the better comedies out there in that mold of greatness with Ted Lasso as well. It's just a great show, top to bottom. Jean Smart is fantastic. Hannah Einbinder is great as her scene partner for about 90% of the scenes. So very good show. Everybody should check it out because it really is that great.
Yeah, I wish I could say I've seen it. There's another one of those shows that. How long are the episodes? Are they like half
The
hour,
first
35
season,
minutes?
the first season they were in that 30-minute range. But this last season they were more in like the 40-minute range. So
Okay.
they've kind of upped it a little bit, but I mean there's a lot of just witty back and forth. It's the one thing that I've always gravitated toward about it is the fact that it's this generational divide of comedy. You've got Gene Smart's character is this long-standing, insult comic slash I don't care what people think of me comic, so I'm going to say what's ever on my mind. And she's sort of like the old guard, and then Hannah Einbinder's character is sort of the new guard of comedy writing. That they play a little bit more politically correct and they think about comedy and how people are going to digest that comedy instead of just saying what's on their minds. So it's a really good push and pull between the two characters who have a lot of love for each other, but then also get into little arguments and fights because they are sort of on that other end of the spectrum of each other when it comes to these generational issues that old and new comics probably have with each other.
Yeah, okay. It sounds like that's going to have to go into the half hour rotation. My wife and I have this rotation.
Okay.
Two, two quote unquote hour long shows a night and a half hour show. And
Okay.
right now, I think there are 6 series total. The half hour rotation includes Shrinking. Man, does
Okay.
that show make me laugh and cry in within
Yeah.
5 minutes of one another. And you know what else I discovered? Schmigadoon.
What? Is that good?
Do you like me? You're not a musical guy, but see,
I like good musicals.
it satirizes musicals. It's thoroughly enjoyable,
Okay.
and the first season started with you can guess from the title Schmigadoon, which is a take on Brigadoon, a musical I've never
Okay.
seen.
Okay. Yeah, I've
So
never
it
seen
was
that.
wholesome. It was wholesome, clean, old fashioned, very 50s. Now you go on to the edgier 60s in the second season. It's unfortunately it's not going to get a third. We just started the second
Okay.
season, and the
Okay.
title's the same, but the musical name in the series for the second season is Schmikago,
Okay.
which is a
Isn't
take on
that on? Is that on
Apple TV.
Apple?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so far the second season is just as good as first, and we thoroughly enjoy it. But now that you've given me Hacks, Schmigadoon only has 2 seasons, so I'll have 4 of Hacks to get into
Yeah.
and put in that rotation.
Yeah. I would. I mean, yeah. It's definitely been on my best shows out there every season, and season 4 is no different. Hopefully you like it if you do put it in your rotation. I mean, at the very least, I think you'll appreciate Jean Smart and her performance as always. She's great. But yeah, there's a lot of laughs, and also is sort of the subverting the industry, the industry behind the industry, and that's I'm a sucker for those as well, with like the studio Entourage, other shows like that. So it's sort of the behind the scenes, if you will, working with managers, things like that. But it's a great show, and even my wife enjoys it, and it's not easy to impress her. She's got quite the palate, so she's not afraid to say something's terrible if she doesn't like it.
Yeah, welcome to my life. That's my wife's.
All right. Well, I know we are hopeful. I know we're not getting back into theatrical next week because
We
of
might.
Warner
There,
Brothers. What we might, we'll see.
there's
What else is on the horizon for you for streaming or theatrical?
a theatrical, weather dependent, Goat, an animated feature. That's
Oh yeah, okay. That just kind of sprung out of nowhere too, didn't it? Like I knew nothing about that until I started seeing these trailers, and I'm like, "What is this?" But maybe you'll
yeah,
talk about it.
Goat and oh wow, Crime 101.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you know what? The early returns were not bad on that. Some people actually think it's good. So maybe Chris Hemsworth has himself a hit. Who knows? Well, probably not a box office hit because we know the box office right now is just terrible. But I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are on that. I know that some people are actually saying it's better than what they expected,
well,
in spite of its kind of bad title.
that's called being damned by faint praise.
Well,
but
yeah.
but got those two coming up next week, and
Okay.
let's see on the streaming calendar. I just had this up, right? I just had this up. Well, we talked about the Lincoln Lawyer.
We did, yeah. Well, maybe it'll be a
Um,
nice way to get back into theatrical next week.
yeah.
Maybe Goat will be the greatest movie of all time. Who knows?
I see what you did. I see what you did there.
I try.
I,
I try sometimes.
oh, Cross. Okay. Now I'm a bit psyched. Got to
What
start
is it?
watching that. Cross.
Crossed.
Uh, it's. You remember the Morgan Freeman movies about the forensic psychologist who consulted with the FBI? Kiss the Girls. Along Came a Spider.
Oh yeah, like every movie that Ashley Judd was in the 1990s, basically.
Basically,
Yeah.
character's name was Alex
Okay.
Cross. Much like Jack Reacher,
Right.
much like
Okay. Okay. This is an Alex Cross. Okay.
it's an Amazon Prime series. It's going into the second season. and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
First season was really, really dark, and it's to be expected with the character,
Okay.
but because Amazon Prime doesn't have to worry about a PG-13 rating, they're going to do what the hell they want, or allow
Right.
their creators to do what they want. And it was definitely TVMA, so, and it was
Yeah.
primarily for
Okay.
violent content. So that's what I'm
Yeah. I
looking at.
forgot about that show. Okay, I forgot that show came out a couple of years ago there, late in the 2024. Okay. All right, fantastic. Well, as always, you can read everything that George writes at beaconjournal.com. George, we hope the weather permits so you can go see Goat and Crime 101. Maybe that'll be the new Barbenheimer for the winter movie season, like a Goat Crime or something. So we can't wait to hear what you have to say about that. We will talk again next week. Thank you for stopping by. Have fun at the movies, my friend.
All righty.